Hey, hello. Welcome to my channel. My name is Matisse and I am currently a newly corporate girly, also grad student pursuing healthcare informatics. And in today's video, I'll be discussing how I got here and all of my plans for the future. So pretty much starting off from the very beginning, I started off pursuing nursing, which I feel like is a very common thing for people who pretty much pivot to other areas in healthcare. They start off in nursing. So I started off in nursing, unfortunately failed out of school. One, because of myself. I was not putting as much effort into it as I should have been, I will admit that. But also, it just wasn't for me. I feel that even if I would have went back, because I did consider going back, I still wouldn't have been happy. Nothing in nursing just felt right for me. Honestly, truly speaking, I pursued nursing because it was something that everyone said you should do. If you want a career field that you are going to be sure that there is money coming in and you're going to be sure that you always have a job, go for nursing. And especially, honestly, just speaking as a Black woman, that was something that was just always pushed onto me as just a safety net type of role. So that is why I chose nursing. Got into it, got started with clinicals, did not like the 12-hour shifts, did not like the direct aspect of patient care, just personally was not for me. And just a lot of different aspects. I could definitely see how nurses were being burnt out. Mind you, I was doing clinicals during COVID. I started the end of 2020, I believe. So like towards the end of, the whole COVID shutdown and everything. But yeah, I was able to see firsthand like how COVID affected the healthcare system. And even just as someone doing clinicals and not even working full time, I was burnt out. Like the patient to nursing ratio was insane and very much unsafe. So filled out nursing school, thought about it for a while and decided this isn't for me. I'm not going to go back, and decided to go back to school and just finish up transferring to a similar degree so that it wouldn't take me like as much time to start over, so to say. So of course the advisor suggested health systems management. I believe that that's like a similar field that's suggested for people who leave out of nursing, because I've heard that same story a lot. But they suggested that I pursue health systems management, which to me honestly is a very good field, but it's also a very baseline degree. So going into it, I was expecting, I get this degree and I'll get an administrator position and I'll just be this big manager in the healthcare system. And I got my degree and I just realized like, this is actually like not a degree that you can just expect to find a role in immediately without any type of prior experience. Like you have to have 5 to 10 years in some type of other healthcare role to even get some type of healthcare management position, in my opinion. Unless you're very lucky, you have to have a solid resume with healthcare only to really find your way into a role such as that. And I did not have that. I had some CNA experience, but only for like a year or two. So I just quickly realized I needed to pivot because it just didn't sit well with me. And while I could have found an entry-level job and worked my way up, I just decided not to. I decided to find another way. So I decided that my next best thing would be to pursue a master's to add on top of that, because with me getting a master's, that would count as experience, right? So I chose to go into healthcare informatics at Wake Forest University, and I love it. I chose that because while I was still able to pursue healthcare, I was also able to pursue like this entirely new field. Like healthcare informatics was something, at least around that time, like 2023, it was something that was just being talked about. Like even now in 2025, it's still something that people are just learning about. But in 2023, especially, at least in my opinion, or as far as what I know, healthcare informatics was not something that was like well known. I only found out about it just from looking around at programs and seeing like what different schools had to offer for the master's degree. And I just so happened to see that Wake Forest offered that, and it was at a pretty decent price. So yeah, I just so happened to see that Wake Forest offered that program. It was at a decent price, and it was also online, which was the main thing that I was looking for. I didn't want to be back on campus when it came to getting my graduate degree, because I knew that at some point I would want to find a job, and I just didn't want to have to deal with the hassle of having to also go to work and then also go to an in-person class. So online is what felt best to me, and it still does. So I'm very glad that I made that decision. But as far as my schooling so far, my schooling has been a really great experience. At times, I do honestly wish that I had done in-person classes just because I know that I would be able to network a lot more. But outside of that, I love being online. It does work for me. I feel like even with me not having in-person classes, I still personally do my best to network as much as possible. So with getting this degree, I knew that I didn't want to just get this degree and rely on that. I knew that I also had to put in the work myself if I wanted to get to where I was going to be. So starting this degree, probably about my first year or so, I didn't do much, honestly. I would say about my first 6 months, I didn't do much. I just got used to the classes, the curriculum, making sure that I was getting good grades, and that was great to me. About December, I decided to go ahead and pursue an internship. I knew that I wanted to do an internship relative to my degree, just to really get that baseline experience without having to really pursue a full-time job, because I just wasn't ready for a full-time job quite yet. And I knew that the likelihood of getting a full-time job while in the middle of my master's without any experience was zero. So I knew that I needed to start with something to just get me get my feet wet. So for me, I chose to do an internship. It was unpaid. I know that every time I tell people that my internship was unpaid, they kind of like get shook. But honestly, if you really want something, if you really want to work hard, if you really want to get to where you want to be, you have to take risk. You have to do the things that just don't quite make sense, but that you know are going to put you in the right position. And when I say that it didn't make sense, basically, I'm just saying for someone to be 25 going on 26 at the time, I needed a full-time job, but I had to accept the internship just to get my foot in the door. And I understood that. So yeah, I got my internship, worked hard on the projects that they presented to me. I was working with Broad Street, which is a public health, population health based nonprofit. We pretty much work with data, trying to figure out how to best allocate resources for certain areas. The area that I had assigned to me was for Kansas. So I did a lot of work in regards to Kansas and just their community, their resources, things of that sort, but also using data to see how we can properly influence these things. So it was really cool to work in both like analytics, but then also population health, public health. It was like really interesting to see firsthand and get that experience. So after about, I would say 2-3 months of my internship, I decided to take on a leadership role. And while I knew that this was going to be a lot more work, a lot more stress for no pay, I also knew that a leadership role looks great on a resume that I didn't quite have filled out yet. So I took the leadership role. From there, I provided mentorship, helped develop skills with my mentees, and pretty much was just like a resource for them, like the new people coming into the internship. And I had my very own pod that I led weekly meetings with. So it was a big learning experience, just learning how to lead people and learning how to just be that resource for someone that you once wished that you had. That was my main goal. Like I wanted to be the person that I wished I had when I first started off an internship. So that was a really cool experience, and I'm very lucky to even say that I got that experience. I actually just wrapped that internship up in August. Yeah, it's still August. So I wrapped up about 2 weeks ago, and I'm officially done with that now. So I was with my internship for 8 months, and it is now over. And before I finished up my internship, I actually got the job that I got now. So going back just a little bit, while developing all of these different experiences, adding my master's degree to the list, adding my internship to the list, I decided to go ahead and start taking LinkedIn seriously. So I was heavy on LinkedIn. Any type of networking event I went to, I'm posting about it. Anything pertaining to my internship, I'm posting about it. I was really just trying to put myself out there and make a name for myself. I wanted to be well known on LinkedIn, and I made that a goal to do one networking event a month, make one post a month. And I did that. And I believe that that is the reason why I got the job that I have now, because the recruiter that reached out to me for the job reached out to me on LinkedIn. It was like so random. I literally was just having a normal day and I get this email from a recruiter telling me about the job, asking me, am I interested? I said yes. It went from there. All the interviews went great. Next thing you know, I have a full-time job offer. Completely unbeknownst to me that this was going to happen, but I got a full-time job offer as what they call a client support analyst, but also a healthcare revenue cycle analyst. And it was just a full circle moment for me because like this is what all this hard work was for. Like I really wanted to put myself in a position to finally get a job, finally get some real experience paid. And I got it, and it just felt so good to know that this was all because I did the work that I needed to do. So with the job that I have now, I'm a month and a half in, and I pretty much work with hospitals analyzing their contracts between themselves and the payers, which are insurance or sometimes self-paid, so patients themselves, and just seeing where is money being left on the table. Where are we being shorted at? Where are we paying too much at? And just seeing like how can we better fix this, because when it comes to healthcare and finances, which is kind of what I work in, healthcare, finance, tech at this point, I'm starting to see it that way. It still directly impacts patient care, because if a hospital is not able to manage their funds correctly and they're missing out on money, this lost money is less money that they're able to put into the resources needed to provide a better patient experience. So it's all a cycle, revenue cycle. And just between the time of starting this job, like it's allowed me to better understand that. And I just have a totally different view on healthcare. You know, it's so many different sectors and it's been really cool to learn. But really just adjusting to this job, my very first corporate job, my very first hybrid role, because I work Monday through Thursday in office, and then I'm home on Fridays. So all of that. And then also just working as an analyst. Like while my internship did provide me with some experience, actually having a job with responsibilities and goals that you have to meet is way different than an internship where you're just doing projects. So this has been like a whole different experience. Like honestly, my very first 30 days, I was stressed, okay? I was overwhelmed. And it was all because of me. I was stressing myself out. One, I wanted to prove to them that I was the best, that I deserved the role, that I was a hard worker. Girl, you already have the role. You did the proving during the interview. Like if I could talk to my old self, that's exactly what I would say. Like chill out. I was like working past 5, like staying late, getting there early, 45 minutes, an hour early, just to make sure that I did everything. Like, and I just had to tell myself, like, cause I realized I was getting so stressed and burnt out already. Like, girl, relax, you're new. We have a 90-day training period. Like, you have 90 days to be a trainer, to be a beginner. We really have a 6-month period, but 90 days of actually we have training classes. So I was like, you're new. They know that. You're not gonna be perfect. They expect that. Chill out. And I just had to have like a come to Jesus moment, because if not, I would have made myself sick. And like, I get it. I was just trying to be the best because I was so excited that I got this opportunity, and I just wanted to make it worth it and show that I was very grateful. And you can be grateful, but you also need to take care of yourself. And you also need to give yourself grace and just understand that you're new and that things are going to take time. Being grateful doesn't mean that you have to be perfect. Being grateful just means showing up every day. Being grateful means being your best self every day. That's all that you need to show that you're grateful. No one expects perfection. Like that was just, I don't know, I was putting like unattainable goals on myself. But since then, I've definitely figured out my work-life balance situation a little bit, and things have been better. And now at this point, granted, it's only been a month and a half, y'all. Like, let me not sit here and act like I am so happy. Like, I am happy with my job, but I also understand I'm very new. I still need to get acquainted. But for me personally, I feel like so far I can tell that this is a role that I enjoy, that this is a role that I can grow in, and that this is a company with values that align with who I am and the roles that I see for myself in the future. It makes sense for me. And it just feels surreal, because it's just like life just has a way of showing you that you never know where you're going to end up, but you're going to end up somewhere. So just keep going and it will literally all work out. So yeah, my whole journey has been very much, so to say, motivating for me, because I generally started off just lost, not sure what was going to happen, what I wanted to do. And now I can genuinely say today that I feel very confident in what I do. I feel very confident in what I'm pursuing, and things are starting to feel like they make sense. Things are starting to feel like I'm going in the right direction. I don't feel unsure about a lot these days, and that's enough for me. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And I just can't wait to continue on this journey and also share and document these things with you all. So